No one paid attention to her, not when she slipped into class quietly each morning, not when she walked the hallways alone, and certainly not when she ate lunch beside the vending machine instead of at any table. But the moment one of the school's loudest bullies grabbed her tightly wrapped hair bun and yanked it like it was a joke, everyone's eyes turned. In the seconds that followed, they would all witness something they'd never forget: the quiet girl, the ghost of the classroom, flipping her tormentors like a trained fighter. They didn't know what they had pulled until they were flying through the air. Her name was Sarah. She was 17 and had moved to Lincoln High just 6 months ago. Her family had emigrated from Pakistan after her father's business collapsed, and they'd landed in a new town hoping for a fresh start. But for Sarah, the new beginning wasn't easy. She barely spoke in class, kept her hair tied up in a tight bun every day, and always wore full-length sleeves, even in the summer. She sat in the last row, always prepared, always silent, and always overlooked. The students at Lincoln weren't cruel at first. But high school has its own way of sniffing out difference. And silence, in a world that rewards loudness, makes you stand out more than you'd think. Sarah became the subject of whispers, giggles, and eventually, jokes. Most of the time she pretended not to hear them. Sometimes she did her and it stung, but she kept her eyes forward and her head down. The worst of them all was a trio of boys who thought making others miserable was a game. Mason, Tyler, and Blake, star athletes, TikTok pranksters, and proud of it. They liked to pick at people like Sarah, the ones who didn't fight back, the ones they thought were weak. It started with stupid things. Mason would knock over her water bottle as he walked past. Tyler would mimic her accent under his breath. Blake once took a picture of her in the cafeteria and added a filter to her face before sharing it with the caption, "Princess Mute." She saw it. She just didn't respond. She didn't cry in front of them. She didn't even flinch. But silence doesn't mean surrender. What no one knew was that Sarah's grandfather had been a judo coach for Pakistan's national team. Since the age of 5, she'd trained with him every weekend in Lahore. Learned how to fall without fear, how to use someone's weight against them, how to move fast, clean, and calm. She hadn't practiced as much since moving to the States, but the muscle memory was there. Every time she tied her bun, she remembered his voice, strong mind, stronger stance. The breaking point came on a humid Friday afternoon in May. The final bell had rung. Students poured into the hallway, buzzing with weekend plans. Sarah tried to move quickly, hoping to avoid attention. But as she turned the corner near her locker, she heard it, the unmistakable voice of Mason. Yo, hold up, guys. Check this out, he laughed. Before she could react, she felt it. A sudden, sharp tug on her bun. Her head jerked back, pain blooming across her scalp. Her books fell to the ground. Laughter erupted behind her. Mason had grabbed her hair, twisted it like it was some kind of toy. "What's in here, huh? Secrets, Bricks? Come on, say something." And just like that, the weight of months' no. Years of being silenced, mocked, and disrespected snapped. Sarah didn't scream. She didn't threaten. She moved. With a fluid motion, she twisted her shoulder out of his grip, gripped his arm, and dropped into a low stance. In one clean movement, she flipped Mason over her shoulder, sending him crashing onto his back. The thud silenced everything. Tyler and Blake stood frozen, but Tyler reacted first. He lunged forward, fists clenched. Sarah ducked, turned, and used his momentum to send him tumbling face first into a locker. Blake hesitated, backing up. But it was too late. The crowd had gathered. Phones were out. Eyes wide. Mouths open. Sarah stood tall, breathing calmly. She looked down at Mason, who groaned and tried to sit up. You don't touch people like that, she said clearly. Never again. The assistant principal. Mr. Dalton arrived moments later, pushing through the students. He saw the scene, the 3 boys sprawled, the hallway stunned, and Sarah standing in the center. Unshaken asterisk, she was escorted to the office. So were the boys. Asterisk, at first, there were questions. Had she attacked them? Was she retaliating? Asterisk, but the videos spoke for themselves. So did the dozens of students who witnessed it. And when Sarah explained, calmly, everything she had endured, photos, the taunts, the pulling of her hair, it became clear who the victims were. Asterisk Mason. Tyler and Blake were suspended for 2 weeks and required to attend behavioral counseling. The school issued a formal apology to Syra. They updated their bullying policies and launched a student protection committee. And for the first time, Syra was asked to speak at an assembly. Asterisk, she stood in front of the entire school a week later. She wore her hair in a low bun, her voice soft but unwavering. Asterisk, people think that quiet means weak, that silence means surrender, but what you don't say can be your greatest strength. I didn't want to hurt anyone. I just wanted to be left alone. But when someone crosses your line, it's okay to say enough. Asterisk, the auditorium was silent. Then the applause started, slow, then rising like a wave. Sarah smiled. From that day on, she wasn't the girl no one noticed. Asterisk, she was the girl who stood up, who fought with grace, who flipped the story on its head. Moral of the story, asterisk being, quiet doesn't mean you don't have power. True strength is staying composed in a loud world and knowing exactly when to rise. Respect isn't demand, it's earned. Sometimes it takes just one moment of courage to turn pain into pride. Asterisk.